Tim Alberta, The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory, American Evangelicals in an Age of Extremism. Dive into The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory, a revealing exploration of American evangelicals in a time of heightened political and social extremism. Author Tim Alberta shines a spotlight on the evolving relationship between evangelicals and politics, particularly during the Trump era. This book peels back the layers on how faith, once a deeply personal journey, became intricately linked with worldly power struggles. Expect to uncover the complexities of evangelical identity as it grapples with political allegiance, conspiratorial thinking, and a yearning for a new Israel in the United States. Alberta's in-depth reporting challenges readers to understand why so many evangelicals have chosen political sword over Christ's cross, resulting in a faith community at a crossroads. This summary will guide you through the pivotal themes and eye-opening insights into contemporary evangelicalism's internal conflicts and its broader implications for American society.
Faith and politics clash. Tim Alberta once found religion a deeply personal affair, preferring to navigate the open battlefield of politics. The landscape shifted dramatically with Donald Trump's presidential bid. An outsider turned party leader, Trump altered the dynamics of American politics profoundly, seizing control of the Republican Party in a move few anticipated. The keys to understanding Trump's meteoric rise lay in the changing sentiments within Middle America. As Alberta delved into communities akin to his childhood suburb near Detroit, he discovered a pattern. Predominantly white, affluent, conservative, and evangelical, these pockets of America formed the bedrock of Republican support for half a century. Yet, their allegiance was less a vote for Republicans than a vote against the left, a strategy of choosing the lesser evil. Enter Trump, who redefined traditional politics for these voters. Despite their disdain for Hillary Clinton, evangelicals were drawn to Trump not just by his opposition to her but by a genuine enthusiasm for his raw, unfiltered persona. His campaign was marked by aggression, contempt for conventional decorum, and blatant divisiveness. Yet, the evangelical support surged. This apparent paradox found explanation in their belief that Trump's character flaws were irrelevant to God's greater plan. Evangelicals viewed themselves as defending Christianity against an assumed onslaught from secular forces, casting Trump as their aegis against the liberal tide. Thus, the choice in 2016 was stark: they believed in Trump as a bastion of their belief system or feared the devastation of their cultural values. When Alberta returned to his roots in 2019 after his father's death, he confronted this inflammatory loyalty firsthand. Instead of condolences, he faced accusations and demands from congregants familiar with his critical exploration of Trump's ascent. In an echo of media personalities like Rush Limbaugh, criticism seemed to equate to betrayal. Allegations flew, spanning from support for the deep state conspiracy to pressures for retraction of his words. In this charged environment, Alberta's wife voiced the pressing question on their minds: what the hell is wrong with these people? This inquiry, more profound and revealing than mere political discourse, became his driving force, prompting an investigation into the intricate junction of faith, belief, and identity in the American political landscape. America's idolatry crisis. Bruce Winnan, a liberal pastor in a largely conservative evangelical community in Michigan, faced an unexpected challenge when he began his ministry in 2019. Initially, he dismissed the political rants he saw online, concerning himself solely with spiritual teachings. However, the pandemic transformed a simmering undercurrent of conspiracy theories into a central theme among his congregants. As state-led shutdowns took effect, the narrative shifted drastically. Many believers claimed the virus was a fabrication by global elites to suppress Christianity, heralding an internal war. This notion wasn't newfound; it had historical roots dating back to the Cold War when the Soviet Union was viewed as the primary threat to Christianity. Its dissolution led evangelicals to turn their focus inward, suspecting liberals of plotting against their faith. This fringe thinking gained traction with Barack Obama's presidency, fueled by conspiracy theories like the birther movement, particularly notable figures like Donald Trump. As Trump ran for president in 2016, he capitalized on these themes, warning that Democrats sought to weaken Christianity while promising religious empowerment under his leadership. The situation worsened during the pandemic, with Trump underplaying its severity, which made many wonder if it was a liberal ploy to undermine him. By the 2020 presidential election, political motives invaded places of worship, leaving pastors like Winnan in a quandary. Congregants pressured him to denounce Joe Biden, and when he maintained his neutrality, they exited the church. Following Trump's electoral defeat, things deteriorated further. A trusted church leader was dismissed for spreading QAnon theories, portraying Trump as a divine fighter against evil forces. This sparked a fresh wave of departures. The January 6, 2021, Capitol insurrection marked a tipping point. Winnan, witnessing rioters brandishing Christian symbols, started to doubt his own beliefs. When asked what had gone wrong with American evangelicals, he concluded that too many had misplaced their worship, not on spirituality but on the allure of nationalism, idolizing America itself. Crossing swords and faith. Imagine being faced with a choice between wielding Caesar's sword or embracing Jesus' cross. This metaphor offers a profound lens through which to view the tensions between temporal power and spiritual devotion. Rooted in biblical history, God's covenant with Israel was once for a chosen people bound by divine laws. However, throughout the Old Testament, we witness these chosen people often straying and paying the price through destruction and exile. Yet, despite such trials, a different path emerges with Jesus of Nazareth, a path not to a re-established earthly kingdom but to a heavenly one accessible to all who accept him, transcending Judaism alone. In the book of Hebrews, this transformative moment is referred to as a new covenant that renders the old obsolete. Through Jesus, God shifts the focus from seeking a physical promised land to yearning for an eternal kingdom. The teachings of Jesus offered a departure from earthly political dynamics, urging followers to give Caesar his taxes while reserving their ultimate loyalty for God. This separation underscores that earthly allegiances, while necessary, remain secondary to divine commitment. Political power, in contrast, is transient compared to the permanence of heavenly citizenship. Yet, power, when wielded without caution, can blur these lines. A contemporary critique suggests that many have lost sight of their spiritual journey, mistaking earthly success for divine favor. Similar to the ancient Israelites' quest for dominion, some evangelicals today see America's global prominence as a sign of God's chosen promise, equating it to a new Israel. This belief fosters a misguided sense of duty to defend America almost as a religious act, confusing national identity with spiritual allegiance. However, it is warned against such conflations. Paul, in 2 Corinthians, reminds us of the importance of focusing on the unseen and the eternal. Earthly matters may be compelling, but their transience is unavoidable. Political communities, too, are just brief fixtures amidst the eternal backdrop. Many modern evangelicals nonetheless are captivated by present-day realities, drawing parallels to first-century Christians in Rome, who saw themselves as spiritual exiles within their worldly context. It seems many have shifted from emulating Jesus' humble path to seeking worldly dominance, opting for alliances with power brokers that promise influence and riches. Yet, these pursuits risk becoming the very false idols that once led God's chosen astray. The tension between wielding power like Caesar or living selflessly like Jesus captures the heart of this spiritual discourse, a reflection on where one places faith and finds ultimate purpose. Faith in flux. In a shifting American landscape, the once formidable presence of Christianity is undergoing significant transformation. In 1991, a dominant 90% of Americans identified as Christian, but today that number has dropped to 63%, while those who consider themselves secular have surged from 5 to 29%. So, what happened to evoke this dramatic shift? Theologian Russell Moore sheds light on the issue, attributing much of the decline to the politicization of Christianity. He observes that the faith has been repurposed as a tool for political agendas rather than being centered on spiritual teachings. The term evangelical, he contends, no longer signifies religious dedication but rather aligns with a particular political identity, specifically, white conservative Republicans. This association has diverted the Church's focus away from spiritual matters, entangling it in the turmoil of current affairs. The statistics are telling. The Church is facing a crisis of leadership, with the number of evangelical pastors under 40 dwindling drastically from 1/3 in 1990 to just 16% today. Political rifts are tearing apart religious communities, evidenced by the fragmentation within the United Methodist Church and the Southern Baptist Convention. Interestingly, a rise in adherence to mainline Protestantism, a branch viewed as progressive and theologically liberal, indicates a shift among white Protestants, moving away from evangelicalism. Many ex-evangelicals perceive evangelicalism as a vehicle for social and political power, rather than a true representation of spiritual beliefs. This change suggests that the evangelical label has grown sour, becoming more of a hindrance than a beacon for spreading faith. Alberta draws a parallel between today's evangelical challenges and the early days of Christianity. Just as in biblical times, some current followers and leaders fail to see the inclusive nature intended by Jesus, who welcomed outcasts and enemies alike. Too many evangelicals, Alberta argues, treat the Church as a fortress meant for the select few, instead of a sanctuary open to all who seek healing and enlightenment. The path forward, Alberta contends, lies in embracing a more universal approach, where faith is accessible to everyone. Evangelicals must abandon the exclusive identities they've clung to amidst political skirmishes and open their arms to all Americans. Only then can the decline be halted and faith renewed, bringing the gospel to all corners of society.
Tim Alberta's The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory paints a vivid portrait of evangelical America's shifting landscape and its alliance with extremism. Through examining the deep-rooted political ties and a perception of America as a divine realm, the book reveals how evangelicals have become ensnared in a quest for power. This fusion of faith and nationalism has led to a critical crossroads, leaving behind decay where renewal was possible. Alberta suggests a path forward, urging a return to universal Christian values that transcend political lines and truly embrace all individuals. From understanding the consequences of seeking temporal power to redefining their mission, evangelicals face the challenge of rediscovering their faith's true essence amidst a rapidly changing cultural and religious climate. The book's message resounds clearly: to preserve their spiritual integrity and influence, evangelicals must prioritize their allegiance to heaven over political expediency. Embrace the challenge. This is an urgent call to clarity and transformation.